All right, you guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to another video. So you guys, it's starting to warm up in my area, so I thought it was the right time to actually start talking about what fertilizer we need to be putting down on the yard. If you guys live in the Northeast like me, you know the temps are starting to break a little bit, but they haven't fully broke yet. But your lawn might be starving for some fertilizer, and you might want to give it a nice little feeding. Well, I'm gonna explain to you guys what fertilizers you should be using and what fertilizer you shouldn't be using at this time. So stay tuned. Let's go over this fertilizer right now. You know, last season, if you guys were here, I actually switched over to the Stay Green product line. They got new liquids, they got new fertilizers, and what caught my eye was really, they said that they have humic acid and sea kelp inside the bag. So if you guys with me, you know that I used this one last season. But when I was using those products, it seemed like they was working, but I don't think I could give a fair assessment because I had other fertilizers that I used prior to using these. So, you know, basically I couldn't tell if it was the other fertilizers working or it was the Stay Green product line working. So I said this season I was going to switch over fully Stay Green product line all season long to see how these products perform in the yard. So starting now in 2024, my lawn is ready for a nice little feeding. So I am going to use one of these fertilizers today, but I'm going to break it down which one and why I'm using the fertilizer that I'm using today. But this one right here, this is the Performax. This is the big boy. This is the one that you're going to be using when you have your yard fully ready to go. This will be used later in the season, somewhere around, I'm gonna say Memorial Day, when your yard is fully out of dormancy, temp is warm, ready to go, and you want a nice big dose of fertilizer. This one is going to have, well, a nice big dose of nitrogen. This one has 30% nitrogen. It's a 30-0-3 formula. The 30 represents 30% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, and 3% potassium, aka potash. This one is the big boy. This is going to have 11 essential nutrients inside. So this one is going to have all the nutrients that these other two have plus more. This one is going to cost you the most. This is it's going to cover up to 14,000 square feet. So basically, you know, you're going to pay for it, but it says it's supposed to offer some good stuff in the bag. Humic acid, sea kelp, you know, a lot of that stuff you cannot find in your big box stores. So that's why Stay Green right now is kind of putting themselves and separating themselves from the pack, because they're putting some of these high powered ingredients inside big box store fertilizers. So I want to see if it's just marketing gimmick or do these products really work. So if you guys want to see if these products work, you don't have to run out and go and use them yourself. If you want to just see how they work, I'm going to test them out here on the channel, and you guys can determine that way. So if you guys want to stay in tune, please subscribe to the channel, like the video to stay in tune. But I'm gonna read off a couple of like these nutrients that it's saying that it has. It's saying guaranteed. So if they don't have what they guaranteeing, you could get your money back, or they can be in big trouble for lying on the bag. But they're saying they have calcium, magnesium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, boron, copper, iron, like I said, and they do have manganese plus zinc. So they're offering a lot of good stuff in these bags here, and plus the humic acid and the sea kelp. A lot of the big box store products does not offer all this stuff inside the bag here, and it's supposed to feed on the lawn for 6 months. So that's give or take. Some of these things claim to feed for 3 months, 6 months, but that depends on how much water, and sometimes they get washed out quickly. So that's the big boy, but I'm not going to be using that today because it's too high of nitrogen right now. My lawn is just coming out of dormancy, so I want to give it a nice light feeding. So I'm going to skip this one. This one, like I said, is going to be used around Memorial Day. Now you have your natural base fertilizer. I used this one last season, and like I said, I thought it did pretty well, but I wasn't sure if that was fully this fertilizer or the other help from the other fertilizers. This one can be used around pets and people. It's saying it's safe for both because it's a natural based fertilizer. It's something comparable to Milorganite, but not really, because Milorganite offers phosphorus. This one doesn't offer any phosphorus. This one is a 16-0-10, 16% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, 10% potash, aka potassium, and a 2-in-1 slow release plus soil conditioner. They all gonna have humic acid and sea kelp inside, so that's a plus. but this one does not offer iron inside, so it's not going to give you that dark green punch that everyone likes, but with the nitrogen it will give a nice little green tint on the lawn. So basically it's not a bad fertilizer. I used it last season, but today I'm going to be using this Stay Green Natural Multi-Nutrients Mix, a 3-in-1 soil conditioner. This is the little bag, basically the little bag of the group. It's an 802 formula, 8% nitrogen, 0 phosphorus, 2% potash, aka potassium. You can use all of these also in the garden too. If you have like a garden or anything, you can use them on plants also. So you know, they're just not lawn fertilizers, they have other uses. You can use them in other areas, but I'm gonna use this one today because, like I said, our lawn is just cracking dormancy. Temps here is like 50s with some 60s later in the week, but it still has potential to drop back down to the 30s and 20s. That's the northeast weather for you guys. So I want to bring my lawn along real nice and slow, make sure it's feeding, make sure it has the nutrients in the food in the soil to feed, but not push too much growth. And I feel like this 8% nitrogen is going to do the trick. So that's why I'm going to use this bag today. This bag will run you about, I believe, like $24. These bags are going to be a little pricey because of all the added nutrients inside the bag, but like I said, we're going to see if they work, so we're going to test them out. All right, you guys, so this is how the product look here. Very simple, basic formula here. Nothing too fancy looking. Very natural. Doesn't have a smell, doesn't have a strong odor like the Milorganite or anything. It's very subtle. And this bag right here is going to cover 4,000 square feet. So you guys, if I didn't explain that in the beginning, sorry about that, but let's go ahead and get this product spread down on the lawn. Now the front lawn has a nice little green tint on its own already. That's the natural color. So spreading this down, probably gonna give it a nice little greener tint, but also she's gonna feed it and strengthen up everything. Now you guys, I didn't measure out 1,000 square feet of coverage. This is a natural based fertilizer, so you don't really have to worry about a lawn burn like that, like the synthetic fertilizers. So this right here, I'm gonna split it up into 2 halves here, side number 1, side number 2, but you're just going to go ahead and lightly feed it and just going to go back and forth. Now this Ryobi spreader does push out very wide, so you don't have to stay in one spot too long. That's the best thing about this spreader, and it's automatic, as you guys can hear. And you're just going to go ahead and spread it out. Spreading very easily, just like every other fertilizer. And if you get some on the sidewalk, blow it back into your yard. Don't let it go down in the sewage drains and stuff like that. And that's it. Side number 1 is completed. Let's go to side number 2. All right, so now we're on the second side. Gonna start at the far end. Very basic. Just spread it. Sway back and forth, side to side. And like I said, this Ryobi spreader spreads very far. Hit your edges. I have a little bit of product left. I didn't spread down everything, but you guys get the picture. These products are very, very basic. Spread them down just like other fertilizers, and you're gonna water them in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of water. You don't have to oversaturate your lawn, just enough to actually water into the product, into the soil, and let the product do the rest. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys want to keep up with the process and see the progress of the lawn with these fertilizers. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit it with a like. I would greatly appreciate it. That helps me out a whole lot. But if you guys stay tuned, get out in those yards and get them together, and we'll be back very soon. So take care.